Good morning. Welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder. This is BRN Weekly for Saturday, November 27th, 2021. And our top story, we'll have a travel update as Disney halts annual passes. Joining me now to discuss this and a lot more, Daniel Klein is the managing editor of The Street. Dan, great to see you again. Thanks so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Good morning, Jeff. Sounds nice to hear you say that. It's a new title. I'm getting used to it here.
Absolutely. Dan, let's talk about a travel update. We've been talking about traveling during Thanksgiving, but I think people who might be traveling to Disney need to get an update that Disney has now halted sales of annual passes. What can you tell us?
So this is Disney World in Florida. Disneyland in California has a whole different system, and I won't even get into that. But Disney World in Florida had brought back its annual passes, which were suspended during the pandemic. They allowed people like me, existing pass holders, to renew, but they weren't allowing new people. They allowed signups, and then all except the lowest level pass, which is a Florida only pass with a lot of blackout dates, have been suspended. And why is that? It's because although Disney has kind of bounced back to near normal, they're still operating at somewhat limited capacity. They're not telling us what that capacity is, but it's probably about 70, 80%. Why is that? Because some of the big shows, some of the parades, some of the things they do that suck a lot of people out of the ride lines aren't operating because of either union reasons or you have to rehearse before certain shows. Like they're going to bring back the Indiana Jones stunt show soon. Well, that's like 2,000 people not walking around at Hollywood studios. And because of that limited capacity, you have to make a reservation as a pass holder or a ticket holder to go to a park each day. Those reservations have been selling out very quickly from the pass holder pool. So then all of a sudden, well, I have a pass, but I can't go to the park, or I have to keep refreshing and trying to find someone else who canceled. It's very tricky. So if they keep selling passes, that problem only becomes worse. So what's going to happen here? They're going to hold off on passes for a while, either till they raise capacity or until some of the existing pass holders don't renew, and then they'll reopen. This is Disney managing its experience over its revenue, and that's actually not something Disney's famous for. Usually Disney is, all about raising the price of a churro while making it smaller. This is actually Disney thinking about what it's like for the person who holds a pass. And Jeff, as you may know, those passes are not cheap. My pass is like $700, $800, and that's like with a discount because I'm a recurring pass holder.
Are there opportunities? Say you bought the pass, because of the inflexibility here, or the desire to manage expectations now. Can you get a rebate, or should you get a rebate? Is it worth having that annual pass or buying an annual pass if you can get one, or waiting until things come back online?
So at this point, anyone who has an annual pass kind of went into it knowing what the new reality is, knowing that there'd be that reservation system. And I find it a little more annoying because it used to be I was at our Orlando property. I had a couple hours free and I could be like, hey, let's go to Epcot for lunch. That'll be fun. Well, can't really do that anymore. I mean, maybe you can. You can check that day to see if but there's this added layer. So all it means for me is I have to look at the calendar a little bit more. I have to say, hey, I might be free to go to Disney on these days. I'll make reservations. Then if it turns out I'm not free, I'm a good citizen, so I cancel that reservation and somebody else can go grab it. So it's an added layer of difficulty, but once you're in the park, it doesn't make it any less fun. So I think here's the reality. A Disney pass is worth it if you're going to go to the parks like 6 or 7 days a year. As someone who goes 20 or 30 days, maybe I'll only go 15 or 20. It's still a very, very good value. I'm not so sure how well it works for the people who don't live here, who don't have the really easy flexibility of just looking at like, wait, there's a Hollywood Studios reservation on Thursday. I'm not that busy Thursday. I'll go. That being said, I do think, given the high price of tickets, annual passes are still a good deal, and they obviously aren't having any trouble selling them when they are available.
Dan, Disney is a very popular brand. How else can we access Disney? They have the streaming service. I think they have Disney stores. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But there are ways that if you can't bring your children because what we're describing, you can't get a pass, there's lines, there's not opportunity. There are other ways to get your children engaged in the Disney ecosystem.
Absolutely. I think that Disney Plus is the best value out there. I'm really excited to start Hawkeye this week, the latest Marvel series. But there's Star Wars, there's The Simpsons, there's something for everybody. There's Hamilton, the musical, there's the documentary, The Beatles came out this week. all sorts of stuff. I think it's just a great whole family value. There's also, if you come to Florida and maybe you don't want to deal with the parks, there's Disney Springs, which is the shopping area next to Disney. And shopping area, it's not a mall. I mean, it has a lot of stores, but it also has lots of dining, like things like the Lego store, which are really fun and interactive. It's a fun place to walk around. And that's kind of a way to get like there's a Christmas tree whole processional walk now. That's kind of a way to put your toe in the Disney water without having to spend, $170 for a ticket or whatever it might be at any given time. It's also not the season for it, but the water parks are also a relatively inexpensive way to just spend a day or two in the Disney universe without committing to the whole trip. Look, I own a property near Disney. I'm a big fan, but it can be very expensive, and it is not always the best choice for everyone. So spend that $7.99 a month or whatever it is on Disney Plus. I might be getting that price wrong. And that is a really good way to buy an awful lot of content, a ton of value there.
You can see Mickey, Minnie, and all the other classic and new characters on Disney. Dan Klein, great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. And we look forward to having you back on the program again very soon.
Jeff, I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. And when we come back, we'll take a look at some of our best segments this week. You're going to want to stay tuned right here on BRN Weekly. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms? Especially for the smaller businesses. I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
Are you stuck with a low credit score? A credit report and score that's causing you to be denied credit or pay higher interest rates than others for the same things? Then do what Terrence did and call Credit Repaired for your free credit evaluation to help restore your credit.
I started thinking about buying a new house, and my score wasn't where I needed it to be. I called and spoke with one of the representatives, and we just had a good conversation, and I liked what he was saying.
Just one call for his free credit evaluation was all it took to start back on the track to repairing his credit.
I'm seeing the deletions and I'm getting the report, so I know something's being done. It does make a difference to me.
All it takes is one call to get started.
Credit Repair has given me a second chance to have a better credit score.
Don't let a low credit score hold you back another day. Do what Terrence did and make the call for your free credit evaluation.
Call 800-819-4152. That's 800-819-4152. Again, 800-819-4152.
Welcome back. On Monday, Money Alignment Academy's George Grombacher joined the show to discuss some terrible ways to save. Let's take a look.
My heart goes out to the credit card companies. If their profits are being reduced or cut, it's like, oh, I just don't know what they're going to do. My heart does not really go out to them. And I did see that, yes, they are mailing a ton of new offers, and the amount of marketing dollars that they're spending have surpassed pre-pandemic levels and all that good stuff. So I totally get it. Their numbers are down. They want people to start using credit again. Great. My thoughts on that are, after reading the article, that on average, they were increasing the cash back from 1.08% to 1.11%. So more is better. So as you are evaluating a credit card offer, really dig in and say, okay, does that small increase, is that really going to be enough for me to make a change or to start using a new and different credit card? So just be a good consumer and dig into all of the fine print, even though there's a lot. I feel like we've talked about this at some point, but I'd like to bag on credit card companies a lot, and I'm going to bag on Robinhood too. It's like a drug dealer. You want to get people hooked on your product, so you give them a little bit of a taste. Maybe you give them a credit card with a $500 limit or something like that, but you get them locked in. And so, do I think that that's predatory? Yeah. I definitely think that that is predatory behavior. I mean, I'm a big personal responsibility person, and I hope that everybody else is a big personal responsibility person. And it took me till I was probably 30 years old to understand what a basis point was. And I was working in personal finance, more sales than anything else. But it's important that people understand what a basis point is, because that's how financial companies like credit card companies and financial advisors, that's how they charge and that's how they make money. So that's really, really basic advice. And the simplest way that I can break that down is to think about a percentage like a dollar. So $1 has 100 cents. 1 percentage point has 100 basis points. So when I just mentioned a minute ago 1.08%, that's 108 basis points. And they're moving the offer to 1.11%. So that's 111 basis points. So as you are evaluating offers with a credit card company, small amounts do make a big difference. So it's just a matter of, how is this going to apply to my life? Is this going to have a beneficial impact, or do I feel like I'm being charged too much? It really is kind of a chicken and the egg kind of a thing. Somebody just asked me the other day, how can I motivate somebody? And he was talking about his kids. How can I motivate people to start taking proactive, positive, beneficial financial action? And that's always been a tricky one. Oftentimes we have to experience personal hardship or see somebody close to us experience some kind of a hardship to have that really kind of click that causes us to spring into action. So I think that that's why it's always a matter of, we always want to be making new information available and doing our best to package it up in a way that's digestible and hopefully a little bit entertaining even. And that way we're positioning people to be successful wherever they're at.
And on Tuesday, Q4 Inc.'s Daniela Kovic joined BRN AM to discuss what you need to know to implement artificial intelligence. Let's take a look.
You know, I feel like those 80s and 90s movies scare the crap out of people and they're thinking the robots are going to take over the world, but that's not the case. Here at Q4, the way we define it, and I'd like to compare it to a human brain, essentially what it is, it's a big infrastructure that is made and then trained to make decisions based on the information that's provided. So what we do in Q4 is our kind of direction of the company is having the ability to make predictive analysis on the next play of a sporting event or what an athlete is going to do. So what we do is we take information from historical events from that specific athlete, that team, along with a bunch of other items such as travel, the location that they're in, and who they're playing against, and if there are any factors such as weather or otherwise. And then from that, as we input that information, our model takes this information, 250,000 layers worth, and then makes a decision on what's the most probable. It can make 100,000 decisions and then weigh it out and say, okay, well, based on all this information input, this is the most probable outcome. So not unlike what we're doing as humans, we're creatures of habit. Every day we wake up, you look at your newspaper or you grab your coffee or you have to go drop off the kids, you take the same route. All of this is based on the information that we have learned previously. So this is the same idea. This model that we have in our brain, as I call it, we feed the information, then it makes a decision based on historical events. What is the most likely? Me as a human brain, I have a capacity, let's just say, to take a look at 10 different games tonight. Just as a human mind, the AI model can look at 1,000 different games, 1,000,000 different games, and can make outcomes. So of course, the competitive advantage. It allows the companies to have more information readily available, coming in within seconds, versus having the humans that will take minutes, hours, or days to kind of come up with the same outcome. So just like anything, and I would say the technology space in general, it's the newest of them all. So with technology and now AI being one of the newest facets of that is the talent. So there is always a challenge when it comes to talent and it comes to learning. Of course, AI has been around for a few years now. We're here in Kitchener-Waterloo. Most people don't know it, but it is a mecca of AI developers. It's from Waterloo University, which is world-renowned in that specific space, same as MIT. It's the Canadian version. So for us, we're seeing a lot of talent coming out of there, but a lot of places in the world, they still don't have the talent to have a proper AI developer build this, because it's not just any developer that can do this. They have to understand the matrix and how to actually build out the decision making. So obviously it starts with the servers, it starts with the infrastructure and the humans. That is essentially what you need to build a proper AI infrastructure. Now, from a business standpoint, if you're not looking to build out your own, but go ahead and essentially, Microsoft has a great tool that you can go to. You can actually purchase the tool and the infrastructure. So you need that to kind of have as a starting point. And then in addition to that is you need somebody that actually is a technician to feed the information. So without the information, again, with our decision-making matrix, it's based on our human experiences. It's the same idea. If you don't have the data, it cannot properly teach and train the AI to make decisions for you in the proper analysis to have the proper output. So whatever your industry is, you need to make sure that you have historical data and as much data as possible in order to actually bring this to life outside of just simply purchasing an AI infrastructure or having somebody build it.
That wraps up this episode of BRN Weekly. Have a topic of interest, somebody you think we should talk to, drop us a line. And don't forget, for all the information in retirement, markets, technology, personal finance, so much more, check out today's edition of our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. Want to search our content, check out our archives, or see the latest news and information? Visit Roku, Amazon, Samsung, and over 100 BRN streaming partners. We're back again tomorrow, this time for BRN Sunday. I'll be joined by members of the media, academia, and financial services. Until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes. Now is your opportunity to co-create content around any topic on the First Lifestyle and Wellness Network. Reach a global audience through our platform and co-own exclusive branded content. All of our programs are available on demand and also as audio-only podcasts, so you can take us on the go. Broadcast Retirement Network, available anytime, anywhere, and on any device.
Are you being audited and do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. The IRS can freeze your assets and seize your bank accounts, but you can stop these IRS actions. The Tax Doctor will work with you using our years of experience to represent your case to help you get the best resolution under the IRS guidelines. Help is here to deal with the IRS to reduce your stress. We've handled thousands of cases, so we know what we're doing. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a Tax Doctor now for a tax emergency analysis.
Call 800-224-6439.